Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're taking a deep dive, a real bottom-up journey into how a computer processor actually thinks and, well, crunches math. We all spend so much time messing with high-level software, right? But beneath all those sleek graphical interfaces, there's this microscopic physical world of digital logic doing all the heavy lifting. I am super excited to take you down to the absolute foundation of VLSI design engineering to see exactly how these electronic brains pull off their calculations. So here's our game plan for today. 1. The rules of binary math. 2. Building digital adders. 3. Subtraction as addition. 4. The CMOS transistor level. And 5. Processors in the real world. Let's get right into it. All right, here's the core premise. Adders and subtractors are the fundamental building blocks of literally every digital processor out there. It honestly doesn't matter if we're talking about the tiny microcontroller in your microwave or a beastly high-performance CPU running a massive video game. Every single calculation happens right here at this foundational transistor level.
Section 1. The rules of binary math. Now, the basic rules of binary, they're incredibly straightforward. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. Easy, right? But the magic, the absolutely crucial point, happens when we add 1 plus 1. In binary, that equals 10, which translates to a sum of 0 and a carry of 1. It's the same deal with subtraction. Taking a larger bit from a smaller one requires a borrow. And these carry and borrow bits are critical. They don't just vanish into thin air, they actually have to physically propagate through multi-bit chains to give us the correct final answer.
Moving on to Section 2, building digital adders.
So the very first piece of actual hardware we can build from these rules is called the half adder. By definition, this is a circuit that takes two 1-bit binary numbers and gives us a sum and a carry. But it has a pretty major limitation. While it can generate a carry bit, it totally lacks the capacity to accept an incoming carry from a previous calculation. It's basically isolated. To physically wire that logic up, we take our inputs, A and B, and route them through an XOR gate, which gives us our sum output. At the exact same time, we route those exact same inputs through an AND gate to calculate our carry output. It's a brilliantly elegant setup, but like we just said, there's no third input line to accept a carry from a previous step.
And that's where the full adder comes in. To calculate much larger numbers, like the 32-bit or 64-bit strings modern computers process, we absolutely have to use this. It beautifully solves our previous bottleneck. A full adder takes three 1-bit inputs, input A, input B, and crucially, a carry-in bit. It takes all three of those and processes them to spit out a final sum and a brand new carry-out. Of course, with a full adder, the complexity naturally bumps up a bit. We're cascading specific gates here. Two XOR gates handle that three-way sum, while a combo of AND gates feeding into an OR gate figures out if a carry-out is actually needed. And by stringing these blocks together side by side, we build what are called ripple carry adders. The carry bit literally ripples down the chain from one adder to the very next. This forms the absolute structural backbone of complex computer arithmetic. But hold on. This brings us to a really critical design problem. We've just built this incredibly intricate circuit to add numbers together. But obviously, computers need to subtract too. So how on earth do CPUs subtract without wasting a ton of valuable silicon space and power on entirely separate subtraction hardware? That brings us to Section 3. Subtraction as addition. Hardware engineers are clever, and they solve this using the 2's complement method. Basically, we introduce a single control signal. Let's call it M. Now, when M equals 0, the circuit sits in addition mode, just passing the B input directly into the adder. But when M flips to a 1, boom, subtraction mode. The circuit automatically inverts the B input and sets the initial carry in to a 1. And the math checks out perfectly. Adding an inverted number plus 1 is the exact same thing mathematically as subtracting it. What's really amazing here is that this single hardware block is now doing double duty. That mode control M is just acting like a simple toggle switch. So instead of wasting real estate laying out millions of microscopic subtractor circuits, engineers just reuse the adders they already built. This is a real game changer. It's a vital technique used deep inside the actual arithmetic logic units, or ALUs, of modern Intel, AMD, and ARM processors to drastically reduce both silicon area and power consumption. Section 4. The CMOS transistor level. Let's zoom all the way in for a second. These abstract math concepts and gate symbols,
They're actually built out of intricate physical layers of semiconductor material. By doping silicon and meticulously layering metals and oxides, engineers create NMOS and PMOS transistors. These are the literal, physical, microscopic switches that are opening and closing billions of times every single second to execute our binary math.
And, physical components take up actual physical space. Building a single XOR gate, that requires about 10 transistors. An AND gate takes roughly 6, and an OR gate takes about 6 too. Put it all together, and a single full CMOS half adder costs us anywhere from 20 to 28 transistors. Now think about the fact that modern CPUs process 64-bit numbers and need massive, insanely complex adder chains to hit their clock speeds. Those transistor counts explode into the millions almost instantly, which is exactly why ASIC and FPGA synthesis tools are constantly grinding to optimize these layouts, trying to find the perfect balance between physical area and processing speed.
And finally, Section 5, Processors in the Real World.
Let's look at how this builds into real-world applications by contrasting two massive examples of these exact circuits. On one hand, you have Intel Core and AMD Ryzen processors, right? These are built for absolute raw high performance. To execute millions of operations per cycle without a single delay, they use highly complex carry look-ahead adders that actually predict the carry bits instantly rather than waiting for them to slowly ripple down the line. On the flip side, you have ARM Cortex processors, the chips running almost every smartphone on the planet. They focus heavily on low power consumption, so they use specific hardware architectures tailored for mobile devices, where, frankly, battery life is king. So, to cleanly tie this entire bottom-up journey together, we started with the half adder, which handles simple two-input math. Then we leveled up to the full adder, which accepts a carry-in from massive multi-bit computation. And rather than burning space on separate subtractors, the industry standard relies on 2's complement, letting our existing full adders handle the subtraction too. This core logic is completely universal. It spans across FPGAs, standard ASICs, all the way to the actual CPU you are using to stream this explainer right now.
And that leaves us looking right at the bleeding edge. As we shrink these transistors down to their literal atomic limits, we are talking just a few nanometers wide here, the physical space and power costs of these arithmetic circuits are getting harder and harder to manage. So the big question is, as we push forward, how will these fundamental adders and subtractors evolve to power the incredibly demanding next generation of AI accelerators? It's a massive, massive engineering challenge. I really hope this explainer gave you the foundational knowledge to appreciate exactly what's going on under the hood of your devices. Thanks for hanging out and learning with me today, and keep exploring.